Hello, everyone. Welcome to the PMI Switzerland's Bridging the Gap, Project Managers as Human-Centered Orchestrators of AI Adoption webinar today. A little bit of housekeeping before we start. The session will be recorded. We will have a Q&A session at the end. Chat will be turned off. And if any questions cannot be answered during the Q&A, we will answer them in the closing follow-up email. Briefly, our agenda, quick intro, then I will pass it over to Panagiotis. We'll aim for a Q&A around 6:45, and then some closing remarks at the end. PMI Switzerland, its purpose and objectives is to empower changemakers to make innovation a reality. It's a non-profit professional association chartered by PMI, dedicated to advancing the practice, science, and profession of project management in a conscious and proactive manner. Some key highlights from our Swiss chapter from 2024. We have over 2,000 members. We have given out over 700 PDUs. We have hosted 51 events online and in person with nearly 1,500 attendees. And we have a substantial following on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram in the thousands. I would like to pause for our sponsors, whom without this event couldn't be put on or made happen. Our gold sponsor, the project management training company STS, our silver sponsor Capture, our bronze sponsors edX Partners and PostFinance. Thank you so much. I will share a poll quickly. Where are you joining from this evening and which industry are you currently working in before I pass it on to Panagiotis Dousis, who will introduce himself.
I would like to express my gratitude to Kathleen and Ron, the co-founders of Cognilytica, and now a major part of PMI. Their vision and the CPMAI methodology empower our community globally with a practical and structured way to deliver real value from AI. So, a brief intro for my side. By the way, you can scan also the QR code with my contact details, or feel free to reach out to LinkedIn for further input. So my name is Panagiotis Dousis. I'm a lecturer at the University of Piraeus, one of the most reputable business schools in Greece, where I teach postgrad students and future project professionals how to lead AI initiatives in the new era. I am also PMP certified and the first in time-wise professional in Greece to obtain the CPMAI last year, joining a community from 200 members last year to more than 1,000 members today. So we speak about the growing community and fast evolving, like AI by default. So alongside with academia, I'm partner at UBAN. UBAN is a boutique advisory company specializing in AI project management, business transformation, and AI ethics and compliance, in collaboration with Democritos, one of the top class research centers in Europe. And finally, like today, I have the privilege to collaborate with multiple PMI chapters across Europe and beyond to promote the practical adoption of AI as a toolkit for project professionals. So, before we start, we will do a flash check via Slido, as Dan mentioned. Do you know Slido? You can scan your QR code, you put your nickname, and your answers are totally anonymous. So feel free to join. Okay, first one. By the way, until we are joining, we will have 10 seconds per question. So just answer based on your gut feeling. This is not an exam, practically. It's just a quick self-assessment to understand how close or how far we are from each concept before we dive in. So 30, almost the half one. Okay. By the way, you will see questions that we'll cover later on, and the sources are PMI and other reputable and credible sources, institutions. So as I said, do your best, but based on your gut feeling. So we are almost 40. We are 40 practically. So done. Are we starting?
Go for it, yes.
Yeah. So guys, ready? Steady, go. First one. 10 seconds, please. MIT, the American University. Perfect. Dan, did you share the correct answer before?
No, I did not.
Nice try. So let's see the second one. Okay, not bad. In any case, we will cover it later on. Nice, nice try. And the last one. Not bad at all, in any case. Perfect, because despite it's a bit tricky, because we have the data as well, but good luck. Nice try. Okay. We see here the top winner. Congrats, Vincent. In any case, the nickname. So, webinar intro. Our webinar today is titled Bridging the Gap, Project Managers as Human-Centered Orchestrators of AI Adoption, which is more relevant than ever. The core idea of this title is simple. AI is not transforming companies by itself. People transform companies. People who can connect strategy with technology, data with purpose, and delivery with accountability. PMI has recently reframed our identity from project monitoring owners to co-owners of project success and value delivery. This shift is more than a slogan. It's a mandate for how we steward AI in our companies. So here is our journey for today. First, we will look at the evolving AI landscape currently and what is coming in the near future. Secondly, we will highlight the most common pitfalls and why so many AI initiatives fail, as we saw already in the Slido. Only 5% goes successfully. Thirdly, we will position our side as human-centered orchestrators of AI adoption. And finally, we will end up with a CPMAI intro, a data-first, agile, iterative methodology that guides AI from conceptualization to real-life production. So let's begin with a context, where we stand, when AI started, and what is coming next. So AI is not a new kid on the block. The journey begins in the 50s at the Dartmouth workshop. Some people say conference, but also it's different because we speak about bilateral Russian and US discussion. So in the Dartmouth workshop, where AI fathers had a great vision, machines that could think and behave like humans. Since then, AI experienced many cycles of spike and slow down. Slow down, in other words, we say AI winters. And every new period witnessed new data, new technologies, and advanced computing power. In the last decade, deep learning unlocked major performance jumps across vision, speech, and language. Recently, Gen AI moved from analyzing data to creating content, text, images, code, and even synthetic video lately. And these capabilities are powerful, but only they are useful when they are aligned with human goals and deployed responsibly. So what is coming next? we are moving into an era of agentic, multimodal, and autonomous systems. So we see here the future, but sometimes the future is now. The next chapter of AI is not about replacing people, it's about augmenting people. And many trends like this support this statement. We have multimodal AI systems that understand and generate multiple, let's say, modalities, text, image, audio, and as I said, video, but together. That's why we speak about multimodal. We speak about agentic AI systems that are not waiting for instructions, but take actions and coordinate across tools and workflows with limited or without human intervention. Synthetic data, artificially generated datasets that help overcome data shortage, protect privacy, and improve, all in all, the model accuracy. Very important, AI democratization, which gives the power to everyone to build useful AI tools without being a developer. Also, advanced computing with quantum and qubits and other forms of computing. We can train AI faster and with less energy, a fundamental step towards sustainability with less environmental toll and, of course, scalability. And finally, we have another statement, AI insurance and risk transfer. Just like we insure against fraud or data breaches today, companies will buy insurance against AI hallucinations and reputational risks. The key principle here is straightforward. AI must serve human goals. Technology is just the accelerator. People set the direction. So let's see here a tricontinental view and how US, China, and Europe approach AI. Practically, different regions approach AI in a different way. The US, as always, or very, very often, tend to focus, generally speaking, on rapid innovation with regulation following to address risks. China applies a state-centric model, which is often a key common characteristic of China, emphasizing centralized direction and control. And Europe, which focus on a balance between innovation and trust, despite some concerns, such as Macron recently said that we innovate less in Europe, we regulate more, and that's why we need a regulatory pause. In any case, the Europe and the European approach focus on two main pillars, among others. Excellence in AI. These data are from the European Commission. So we speak about excellence in AI through countless, but truly countless investments in terms of billion, establishment of AI factories and soon gigafactories, and upskilling and reskilling, which is critical for this era. And we will see again why we speak about this. And we have so many training initiatives, such as the AI Academy. In parallel, we speak about trust in AI through the AI Act, the Data Act, and the Data Governance Act, because, as we see and we may know, data is the backbone that fuels the AI systems. A key point here that I would like to underline is that AI Act is applicable to both developers and deployers who operate in Europe, regardless the country they are located. This means that governance becomes mandatory and shared responsibility across the value chain around the globe. And furthermore, I would like to underline that there is no AI without infrastructure. Data centers are the factories of the digital age. Investment is scaling dramatically. And imagine, guys, that according to McKinsey, global investment will reach $6.7 trillion. I say again, $6.7 trillion by 2030. And finally, I would like to call, you as a Switzerland, and why I call you, as I said, the Silicon Valley of Europe. Dan, feel free to share the links. There are two links, guys, related to your landscape. So the first one, the first link from LinkedIn, we see that Switzerland and Zurich have become a European powerhouse for AI innovation, where global tech leaders and world-class research centers coexist within just a few kilometers, creating practically an ecosystem that rapidly turns new ideas into real-world impact. So more specifically, Switzerland, you are blessed, guys, because you are first in global innovation for 15 years in a row based on the Global Innovation Index. First, again, in talent acquisition for 10 years in a row, based on the IMD World Talent Ranking. You have flagship domestic AI initiatives like NIPO, in terms of AI-driven cancer diagnostics, and open source LLMs such as Apertus, a huge multilingual model with 70 billion parameters and 15 trillion tokens, which is also co-developed by EPFL and ETH Zurich, like NIPO. And moreover, the second LinkedIn link put on that as a bonus an extensive ecosystem of VCs, venture capitals, across your country. And you have, guys, all the ingredients for responsible, high-impact AI adoption. So the message is more than clear here. This is a fruitful landscape for ambitious, large-scale AI initiatives, and you, especially as project professionals, you are in the right place at the right time. And before moving to the next section, I would like to emphasize that, as we say for the major banks, when it's the probability to default, let's say, we speak about too big to fail. So artificial intelligence already has a size that could say again, too big to ignore. The level of regulation in investments is not a single signal of a new bubble. AI is here to stay. It's not another hype before an AI winter. It's a long horizon transformation journey. So guys, welcome on board. But what is AI? When we say AI, what is practically AI? AI can be categorized into three main stages. Narrow AI, systems that do one thing very well, like voice recognition or OCR document processing. General AI, where systems could adapt across domains with human-level reasoning. And finally, superhuman AI, a theoretical and still philosophical, let's say, concept where machines' intelligence could surpass human capability across virtually all tasks. As you may know, today we live in the stage one, narrow AI era, but with rapid momentum towards general AI, while we are challenging our imagination about what future superhuman AI could be. So, when we say narrow AI, and as we categorize and we give the term, the definition, what is stage 1, 2, and 3, when we say narrow AI, practically, we speak about Gen AI, generative AI, and agentic, as we will see after a while. So, what is Gen AI? I am totally sure that you see many terminologies like neural networks, machine learning, deep learning, and you wonder what is what, if they are linked each other, if they are subset or superset, etc. So practically, in a nutshell, think of AI as a layered stack where each definition represents a subset that builds on the capabilities of the previous one. So we have AI, the terminology, the term AI, which is the umbrella concept of machines performing human-like tasks. We have machine learning teaches systems to learn from data and improve with experience. We have neural networks, mathematical models that mimic the human brain. Deep learning, multi-layer neural networks that discover complex patterns. And Gen AI, ultimately, which use deep learning architectures to produce new content. As we said previously, text, image, code, music, and video lately. So, in practice, adoption of Gen AI is no longer hypothetical. Examples such as Zara, Accenture, Tesla, IBM, Starbucks, Spotify, JP Morgan are real-life case studies of Gen AI adoption. In parallel, we are entering a new era, the agentic AI. PwC defines them as systems that make autonomous decisions and take actions toward specific goals with minimal or, as we said previously, without human intervention. Core characteristics: autonomous operation, goal-driven behavior, adaptive learning from their surroundings, and workflow integration. When we speak about integration, we speak about they call APIs, they schedule tasks, and coordinate with other sub-agents. Microsoft, BofA, Bank of America, DHL, BP, Walmart, Siemens, and Amazon embed AI agents in their real life, in their business today. Also, on the right side top, keep in mind that by 2028, Gartner predicts that 1 out of 3 companies will include agentic AI versus less than 1 percentage last year, 2024. It's a massive estimation. So let me close this section with a simple line. As project professionals, we do not need to code the future. We need to coordinate it. And as the European Commission underlines, the way we approach artificial intelligence today will define the world we live in tomorrow. So let's go to the section B, the failure reasons and the pitfalls. You said previously very correctly via Slido what we will see right now. So section B, you see the sources, you see the numbers. So most AI initiatives do not fail because the algorithms are poor or the technology is bad. Studies reveal that 70–80% of initiatives never scale. More specifically, the study by MIT, as we saw previously in Slido, and the famous Project Nanda reports that 95% of AI investments return zero value, totally zero. In other words, only around 5% generate something in terms of return on investment. But why? They fail mainly because companies treat AI as a technology procurement instead of a business transformation. So, common reasons, among others, include over-expectation, over-promise, and overselling of vendors for plug-and-play AI systems. For sure, poor data readiness and governance. Unfortunately, misalignment between business goals and technical teams, and ultimately, the human factor, including resistance to change and lack of required AI skills. More specifically, we see some figures here. For example, IBM reports that 68% of AI leaders or head of AI or chief AI officers, whatever, 68% says that they begin project without setting a clear return on investment during the kickoff. That means they invest time and money into fluffy ideas, usually, as you may understand, for the sake of AI, without a real plan for actionable outcomes. It's basically, in other words, like opening a fancy restaurant before decide what you are planning to serve. Moreover, for sure, we have the data as the hidden obstacle behind AI failure. AI power and accuracy depend primarily on the data quality. So we see here that a large portion of enterprise data is unstructured, and that number can be even 80% according to Gartner. Parenthesis here, unstructured data, if you do not know, is any information that does not follow a predefined format, like text, image, audio, or video, PDF, etc., which make harder for computer to understand, but still they have so much info to give and provide value if they analyzed for sure. Moreover, again, Gartner reminds us that data-oriented tasks could consume even 90% of total project time, a fact that unfortunately companies very often are not ready to understand and accept, and especially the top management. So in parallel, if we say that only 30% of the data is directly usable without preparation according to PMI, we can end up that we see the data as the hidden obstacle, as I said previously. So often, the top management underestimate this effort, projects slip, C-suite trust is gone, and workaround appear. And the lesson is one here. Bad data equals bad decision. So guys, treat data as a top-class asset or accept top-class failure risk and data debt. Because, as we said previously, we cannot expect plug-and-play AI systems. And finally, we have the POC, the proof of concept trap. Here we have, if you know, the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps are proof of concept, prototype, pilot, and finally the production. So testing tools are essential, but they often become problematic. In practice, companies get trapped in endless testing. They burn time, they burn money, and internal credibility until the top management eventually lose trust. So momentum dies, sponsorship by the top management disappears, and the wannabe AI system never become anything more than a very expensive demo. And put on that over and above, and don't forget that according to PMI, we confirm this statement. According to PMI and the recent survey, 85% of organizations admit that they require extensive testing before full AI implementation. So here we are, our role to step in. So in this framework, project professionals become essential. Human-centric leadership is the major requirement for AI success. Our PMO, our CEO of PMI, Pierre Leman, discussed the 10-20-70 model during a recent interview with the BCG managing director. You can also find it and watch it on YouTube. Dan, feel free to share the link again in our chat. By the way, this paper that you will speak about, the Zurich office of BCG is also a contributor. So in case you want guys to reach out to them for further details. So what it says, this model, the BCG introduced the 10-20-70 perspective. So roughly 10% of successful AI adoption is technology, 20% is data and algorithms, and 70% is people. Why typical symptoms can be considered, among others, over-reliance on technical teams and under-investment in user training. This is a common phenomenon, the under-investment in user training. So maybe you end up to have a Ferrari, let's say, but if you do not know how to drive it, it's useless. So practically, it's not useless, the Ferrari. It's useless the way that you cannot adapt how to drive the Ferrari. So we have also middle managers fear loss of control. We have teams that are which are unclear how to use AI and how AI decisions are made. And then practically we have the so-called transparency gap, which create confusion and mistrust. And here it's where explainable or XAI, if you may see, comes in. XAI focuses on making AI models human understandable instead of acting like mysterious black box that just provide answers and expect everyone to give kudos. Over and above, keep in mind that 63% of executives consider the talent gap as a top barrier to scaling AI, according again to a recent PMI survey. So we all understand the importance of the human factor. So it goes without saying, AI transformation is mainly human-centric. We are not just project managers, we are project professionals, an extended, let's say, a framework who coordinate strategy, governance, and change. For us, this translates into a clear mandate: align strategy to measurable outcomes, establish governance for responsible development and use, lead change so that the teams understand, trust, and adopt AI. So guys, whether it was in a PMO or in a transformation office or a delivery team as a project managers per se, our distinct value is not only scheduling or ticking the box if a task is completed. It is the ability to translate between business acumen and technical reality and act as AI and change ambassadors. So let's see the 7 patterns. Before diving into the final part with the CPMAI methodology, it's important to recognize that AI is not a one-size-fits-all category, because there are different categories and different solutions. Firstly, Kathleen and Ron of Cognilytica formalized and introduced this framework, and now PMI evangelize it under the CPMI methodology. So practically, each pattern, each category has different concrete characteristics in terms of data needs, risks, and time to ROI, return on investment. Understanding the right pattern early helps project manager scoping realistically, define metrics clearly, and de-risk the project delivery from tough zero. So let's briefly walk through the 7 patterns commonly used in practice. Number 1, conversational and human interaction, systems that understand and respond in human language across chat and voice. For sure, you may know famous example in our daily life and daily routine is ChatGPT for sure, Siri of Apple, Alexa, and customer service chatbots. We have recognition pattern, number 2, systems that see, hear, and read, demonstrating human-like capabilities. Here we have examples such as the e-gates in the airports, OCR invoice, how we process invoices via OCR systems, and KYC document checks. Number 3, hyper-personalization. Here we have AI systems that adapt products or content to each user individually. Predictive analytics and decision support, number 4. AI that practically forecast what is likely to happen using historical data. Here, the most common example, which is also in a less sophisticated way, like today, it was entities, the credit risk scoring of the banks. So the banks assess debtors' probability of default. Number 5, pattern and anomaly detection. AI that detect deviations from normal behavior to spot fraud, errors, or failures. The most common maybe example here is the card fraud alerts from banking apps. Number 6, goal-driven systems. AI that learns by trial and error to optimize towards a goal. For sure, the most common example here is the Google Maps route optimization. So we see here that practically we understand that we have so many features in our real life, in our daily routine, and practically we speak about AI. And finally, we have autonomous system, category 7. Here we have AI that perceives, decides, and acts independently with minimal human control. For sure, again, the most maybe common example is the Tesla Autopilot and Waymo of Google, the self-driving taxis, which are currently available in some states in the US and soon to be available as well in London. So practically, here we can say that nowadays, most real solutions combine many different patterns. A chatbot, for example, may use conversational AI to interact, recognition to process the document for KYC purposes, know your customer, and hyper-personalization to recommend relevant products. So our duty as project professionals and project managers, among others, is to define which patterns are in scope, how they are integrated with each other, and how everyone will be treated in terms of data and risks. And finally, keep in mind that there is a correlation, as I said previously, between time and ROI. For example, a chatbot can deliver potentially a tangible business value in the short term, while something more sophisticated, more complicated, such as an autonomous system, often require significant time until value realization. So, intro to the CPMI. Why, firstly, AI initiatives are different? Okay, so we make a step back before the CPMI per se. Let's begin with a simple truth. AI initiatives are not like traditional IT software projects. When we build a normal software solution, the logic is stable. The code runs the same way until we change it. But in AI, even if the code stays the same, the data can change everything. If you feed new data into the same model, the behavior can shift overnight. This ongoing dependency on data and feedback is both the power and the challenge of AI. And that's why we cannot use waterfall, sequential, fixed scope approaches. We cannot say that we just threw data at a model and expect magic. We need a disciplined framework that guides step by step from concept to real-world deployment. And practically, in parallel, we need to focus on discovery and iteration. This is exactly what CPMI provides, the cognitive project management for artificial intelligence framework. Practically, in one sentence, we can say that CPMI brings discipline into AI chaos. But what makes CPMI different per se? CPMI keeps AI initiatives focused on three critical realities, among others for sure. Number one, business value at the center. Success is measured by tangible impact, not just model accuracy. Number two, data as the backbone. Data determines feasibility, fairness, quality, and risk. And also, managing the data lifecycle as important as model development by itself. And the third pillar, iteration as a standard practice. As we said, AI evolves, requirements evolve, so we must manage AI projects like data sprints, not like coding sprints. CPMI focus on continuous learning, monitoring, and improvement from day one, because nobody can predict data drift for sure, or more than clear, we cannot predict market change in the long run. So if you have a plan too rigid, you will hit a wall. If you have a plan for change and refinement, then you will be able to adapt and succeed. So here, the key word, the magic word, is iteration. By breaking an AI project into small, validated steps, we catch issues early and reduce rework. We adjust scope and methods as new insights appear, and we maintain transparency across business, data, and technical teams. And also, a key takeaway, don't forget that CPMI is also vendor neutral, giving organization control rather than dependency. So practically, whether it's a customer service chatbot or, as we said, an autonomous system, CPMI supports delivery that is realistic in expectations, responsible for execution, measurable in business impact. So, as we see, in CPMI, we follow 6 major phases. The whole idea is to start with a business, not with let's say, sexy algorithms. All these phases, as we see, are linked with each other. And every time we discover a gap or something, we go back and reassess. By the way, I will come back again after a while here with the iteration. So let's go to phase 1, business understanding. Every artificial intelligence journey starts with a why. Firstly, we need to define the purpose, the scope, what is in, what is out, and the success criteria. We draft a business case with tangible business value and ROI, so a CFO can understand, and also in parallel, a product owner can implement. And ultimately, here, we decide if the project can be realistic in terms of business, data, and technology feasibility. So in order, let's say, to visualize it a bit, we have, for example, a retail bank aims to automate 30%, let's say, of daily call center inbound calls in order to improve response time, to reduce call agent costs. So we need to have cost savings, for example, while we enhance customer satisfaction and user experience. So practically, as you understand, this is a business target, not a technical one. So the key message here is that without a solid why, we jeopardize the project from day one. Okay, let's go to phase 2, data understanding. Once we know why, we check what we have to work with. In this phase, we confirm if the data can facilitate our goal. So, for example, if our chat logs are full of spelling errors, slang, language, or missing sentence, we need to find further data before training. So practically, what we do here, we perform this step in order to avoid, after a while, a garbage in, garbage out delivery. It's where the project managers bridge business ambition and practically data reality. Number 3, data preparation. As we said, where most effort lives. Now we clean and structure the data to make it ready for the model. For example, we have the chatbot, and we have a great number of historical chat logs, and we label them into categories in order to model, in order the model to be able to understand patterns. So we label every chat log into, let's say, categories such as balance request, loan request, or complaint. And as discussed previously, and I would like also to underline again, data preparation can often account more up to 90% of the overall effort. So we have to be totally confident that our data is ready, on the one hand, for model development purposes, and on the other side, for regulatory conformity. Next phase, model development. Phase 4, this is where the model is trained and learn patterns from data. We test different models and compare their accuracy and velocity before we decide which one to deploy. Here it's very important to remain focused because we need discipline, because each run should be traceable and explainable, especially for audit and returning purposes. We have model valuation, where we decide whether the model deliver and meet business and ethical standards, not the technical standards. What I mean, if our chatbot achieves, let's say, 94% accuracy, but performs in a bad way with a specific segment, then we must go again to retrain and fix that bias before the deployment. And finally, we have operationalization. We bring the model into real life, into production. So here, the example is that we have the chatbot up and running, but we have to set up monitoring tools and trigger alerts. For example, when the desired accuracy drops below, let's say, 85%, in order to go back and see what happened. So practically, deployment is not the end. It is the start of the AI lifecycle management. AI projects practically never finish. It is a continuous learning loop. So CPMAI treats every phase as as an iterative loop. For example, if new data appears, revisit data understanding. If business priorities shift, which is very often phenomenal, revisit business understanding. But if you, for example, we need model accuracy enhancement, we need to retrain the model under the model development phase. So practically, it is an ongoing cycle that keeps AI up to date with new business strategies, new data, and new regulatory developments. So we are closing a bit. So that's why we have the key takeaways here. As we close our session, let's pause a bit and question ourselves about what truly defines our career as project professionals. Yes, AI is running faster than ever for sure. Yes, data is powerful. And yes, automation is here to stay. But what remains totally concrete are the human skills, the abilities that connect logic with empathy and data with purpose. So we have on the left side the, let's say, traditional core human skills, such as strategic thinking and business acumen, to connect AI initiatives to measurable outcomes, critical judgment and ethical reasoning to challenging outputs, set boundaries, and also make responsible decisions, leadership through uncertainty, and for sure, communication and trust. On the other hand, we have the so-called new era skills, AI and data literacy in conjunction with AI ethics, so we can understand and govern what we deploy with ethical rules, AI-driven change management to bridge business and technology and champion AI adoption across departments. So here, all in all, we have these skills to complete the modern toolkit, where AI literacy, that's why it's critical to become AI literate. So we need to see here that AI literacy meets human empathy. In other words, it's not about competing with AI. It's all about collaborating with it. So finally, let me tell you something that captures today's session in a nutshell. You will not be replaced, guys, by AI, but by someone who knows how to use and navigate AI better than you. This is not a panic alert. It's a call for action. Because the truth is, no machine can replace the leadership, ethics, or human insight that project managers bring to transformation. Our advantage is our ability to learn, to orchestrate, and to lead with empathy and clarity. The more we understand AI, that's why we speak about AI literacy, the better we can shape it to serve people and not vice versa. As human-centered orchestrators, we are not behind technology. We stay on top of it and any top technology development. So, before I wrap up, I would like to thank you again for today. And guys, let's continue to lead with purpose, trust, and courage. And remember one stuff. Behind every algorithm, there is a choice. And behind every choice, a human. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Panagiotis, for this riveting, insightful, and very, very informative presentation. We have already some questions in the Q&A. You can quickly peek in there, Panagiotis, and I ask all the other participants, they can click on the More button and then the Q&A to pose some more questions if they have any.
Okay. I see 2 open questions, correct?
Yes, for now.
Yes. So we speak about agentic AI, yes, mature.
If you could read the question that you're about to answer, that would be great.
Also, as agentic AI matures, we'll reach a point where the agents take over the decision-making. Since AI systems do not have empathy, moral awareness, or emotions, they will act in a manner that is detached from human values and compassion. Ethically speaking, who is responsible for ensuring that we do not cross this line? Practically, if we speak about the AI Act, that's why we have the AI Act. That's why we have many services in terms of ethic assessment. Because honestly and truly, I agree with this comment. We are in, let's say, a crossroad. And it's very important, as I said, European Commission said that based on what we discuss and what we decide today, we will navigate tomorrow. So practically, if I speak on my side, I would say that agentic AI will be embedded firstly in a less, let's say, critical elements, domains. For any guy that knows the AI Act is based on a risk-based framework. So we have the critical, let's say, domains, which is credit scoring, social scoring, etc., which is prohibited also AI systems. We have systems that they have high risk, medium, and low. So I believe that agentic AI will embed it firstly in the more, let's say, risk-free domains, and afterwards, for sure, they will advance in a maybe in a next step. But also, for sure, with a human, let's say, monitoring. For sure, this is my position. We will can replace the human oversight when we will speak about for very low value tasks, very repetitive. So then we do not need to do this stuff. So if I cover, or if you want to have any other question based on this, Anna. So what kind of programs? So another question, what kind of projects are most low-hanging fruits with AI adoption? So practically, here we need to summarize, as we said previously, that Gen AI projects, chatbots are very, let's say, low-hanging fruits, quick and dirty, in other words, let's say, we can implement because autonomous systems are very complicated. We need to have so many safeguards. So practically, many companies, they already started to create and set up chatbots. From my perspective, my customers also set up tools, not only LLMs, large language model, but also SLMs, small language models, in order to translate unstructured data to structured data. So I see also a big hype on this way to process and make more sophisticated OCR. So also it can be considered, let's say, a low-hanging fruit initiatives in terms of AI adoption. Another question. How build trust for AI? Here we speak about, again, for XAI, explainable AI. It is very critical for companies to have specific policies and processes and documentation to explain how AI generate outcome. So if you have user trainings, then for sure you can have also the trust. So on my side, personally speaking, the trust build is based on the training, is based on the awareness. What type of coaching will be needed for project managers AI-driven? To be honest, if you speak about certifications, apart from CPMAI, I may believe that, okay, we can find another certifications. But practically, I totally encourage you to see relevant certifications because training and coaching goes hand by hand. So if you are trained for something and if you become AI literate, okay, because it is an ongoing training journey. So if you try to see what certification is applicable for you, and if you commit yourself for continuous training or, let's say, awareness and knowledge sharing again and again, then you can have the right ingredients. Yes, how do you progress with using AI when your organization limits the use of tools to corporate copilot? Yes, of course, it's a good question. Everyone's wondered about this. In other words, I can say, again, a key figure from a recent, again, PMI survey, that they consider that only 1% of companies can be considered Gen AI mature. So practically, we speak about low scale of maturity. So if we are, if it's not permitted to use Gen AI tools in our company, it's bad luck. Okay, I cannot say what you can do. Practically, you cannot do something if your company do not embrace AI adoption. But in parallel, you can make experiments. You can go home and take experiment and use different tools alone. And in this way, you can at least enhance your capabilities, generally speaking. Maybe, okay, you cannot apply on the daily routine, but still, maybe you can have also the capabilities on your own if you try to experiment on yourself at home.
So pick your last question, Panagiotis, and for those of you whose questions didn't get answered, we will provide answers to all of them in our follow-up email. So
practically, where do you see that PMs will do the most mistakes by implementing AI? Any purpose? If I understand correctly, practically, unfortunately, because I have already seen different projects and also in systemic banks in Greece, we have so many examples that practically we follow, let's say, more traditional ways. So if you do not follow, not specifically the CPMI, okay, but if you do not follow methods data-driven like CPMI, this is by default, by definition, the biggest mistake. So you need to act more agile, more iteration. Let's say in more, let's say, iteration concept. This is done for me. If you agree, we can summarize all these questions that we are open.
Yes, we are. I've noted them, and we will, in the follow-up email, give answers to all of them. So thank you, everyone, for attending. Bear with me for a second. I have my closing presentation. So Q&A we had. Thanks to Nicola, our VP of Professional Development, for supporting me putting up my first virtual event. Thank you to Panagiotis for the fantastic presentation. Your opinion matters, so please quickly take your phones out, scan the QR code, and give us your feedback. What can we improve? What can we do better? What did you like? And how can we take that input into our future events? Of course, you will get some PDUs for the event, a half a point for ways of working and a half for power skills. Here you can take a screenshot, but it will be also in our newsletters and in the follow-up email on the YouTube link that we will share from the recordings at the events for the rest of the year. A good mix of in-person events all over Switzerland, aperos, lunches, and some online events like Do We Still Need Project Managers or Sustainable Project Leadership. Please join us as volunteers. There are immediate opportunities in our physical Basel, Romandy, and networking event coordination teams. It's very rewarding. I can tell you I joined this summer. The team is super welcoming, and it's really great fun to connect with other project professionals from all sorts of different domains. Please also check out our mentoring program. You can either join us as a mentor and share your well-esteemed knowledge with someone new up and coming. And as a mentee, you can also join us, and we will match you up with someone who can guide you along your journey. Here are social media links. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And once again, thank you so much for attending from practically all over the world on Thursday evening.